So Jamal Anderson is here, and he's joining me right now to talk about all of this. He's a former running back for the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Yeah.
University of Utah?
Yeah, I see you're out all
Yes.
the time. And now he does sports, he's a sports analysis person here. And then joining us by telephone is David Cornwell. He is a sports attorney. You're familiar with him. He represents some big names in the sports world. So I'm going to, David, hang on a second here because I want to talk to Jamal. How serious is this for Cam?
This is very, very serious. Clearly, the allegations against Cam Newton and, in fact, Cecil Newton, if any of these things are true, it is going to be very, very punishing to not only Cam Newton, the University of Auburn as well right now. And the position that the University of Auburn has taken thus far, in the absence of true evidence right now, we hear stories and different people are coming up and reporting and saying different things on the radio, but there has been no clear evidence right now. But a lot of people are talking, and the people who are involved in this and the names that got the ball rolling for this case, it's not good. It's not good right now.
What should Auburn have done? Should they have suspended him for the season? Should they have waited for the outcome of an investigation? Have they jeopardized themselves and a possible championship?
My position is, I believe Auburn should have done their due diligence. If there was any inclination that any of this stuff would be true at all, the University of Auburn, it's going to be bad for the University of Auburn, and they're certainly going to be culpable for letting Cam Newton play, and he's played fantastically. I mean, listen, nobody was talking about this in September and August. When he becomes the hottest player in the country and Auburn becomes one of the top teams, in fact, have an opportunity to play for a championship, then the allegations come, and the allegations are very, very damning, and it is Auburn's responsibility, listen, to look after a player, and if they have nothing to do with this, which has been their position, Cam Newton is eligible and he should be playing. But they should have done their due diligence.
Okay, so listen, I'm going to talk to David. David represents people. David, you represent Reggie Bush. There was a similar situation with him, then had lost the Heisman Trophy. Am I correct?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I
Okay.
did represent Reggie.
Listen, you have written an article. You said the NCAA has breached its contract with student athletes, and it's in response to all of this. You said widespread NCAA investigations in college football programs present an opportunity to examine and challenge the NCAA's, and this is important, I think, draconian amateurism rules. What do you mean by this, and how is this all connected?
It's connected because the NCAA, the entire discussion about Cam Newton, as was the case with Reggie Bush, is simply a focus on the NCAA and attempting to enforce a rule that supports a fiction, that the men who play college football are amateurs in a notorious commercial enterprise. In 2009 and 2010, the NCAA is projecting its revenues to be $750 million.
Wow.
And it just signed a $10 billion contract for NCAA basketball. And it tells us that the value exchange for the money that these men create, billions of dollars, is a college scholarship. It's not a college scholarship. It needs to be an education. Yeah. But the NCAA graduates, 45% of college football players do not graduate.
But you're not...
And 56% of college basketball players do not graduate. They don't get the value for their services.
Go ahead, Jamal.
I completely agree with what you're saying about the money the NCAA generates on these student athletes. The facts don't change the original story. Listen, I was a student athlete. I graduated from University of Utah. I did not get paid to play, Don. I went on to star in the NFL, blessed and fortunate to do such, but I went to an institution of higher learning, did not receive any payment, and followed the rules set forth by the NCAA. Whether I agree or don't agree, these are the rules at present, and the rules, if they've been broken, we have an issue.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, David.
You're making my point, Jamal.
Right.
My point is, you're absolutely right. It's the rule.
But you're not letting people off the hook. People like Cecil.
The rule.
Cecil Newton has said that he is not guilty of anything. You're not letting anyone off the hook here, are you? On the other side, you're challenging the NCAA.
I'm challenging the NCAA, but even as it relates to Cecil Newton or Reggie Bush's father, why would we impose an obligation on a 21-year-old man to know and police his parents and then hold him liable for the conduct of his parents? The only reason we do it is because he's an athlete, and we don't do that in America. We don't treat people differently in America based on their common characteristics.
The only
reason they do it to these men is because they're athletes.
Again, I disagree with, excuse me, I agree with you there. My only problem in this instance, if any of this stuff is true, is Cecil Newton directly was responsible for where Cam was going to go, okay? If we find out there's actual evidence where he engaged in these conversations to get money for Cam Newton to play at these universities, then we have a real problem. David, I'll agree with you all day long. We have a messed up system with the NCAA, but we're talking about a specific player. But I totally agree with you. I mean, this is a whole separate fight with the NCAA because it is an issue. I mean, look what happened to A.J. Green earlier this year with the Bulldogs. Yeah, I mean, he sold a jersey to an agent, and he got suspended for several games. It was a nightmare.
Go ahead, David.
Which is when Frederick Douglass's owner found out that his wife was teaching him the alphabet, he scolded her and said, if a slave learns to read, he'll become dissatisfied with his condition and seek freedom. The NCAA says if a man gets any inclination that his services are worth something, he may ask for money. So we are going to impose draconian penalties on him and his institution so they don't seek payment. It is absurd, it is draconian, and I think it may very well be fraudulent and illegal because they make the promise. If you come here and pay for free, we will give you an education. That's a false promise to 45% of college football players in 2008.
Hey, David, thank you. I know that you're traveling today and you're doing something with your kids. Thanks for joining us and safe travels, okay? We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. David's looking at me now. We're heading to the gate.
All right. Good luck, man. So listen, bottom line it for us. What happens next? Because this is a domino effect. Because it could affect Mississippi State. It could affect Auburn. It could affect the entire NCAA.
I mean, the thing about this story, Don, there are discrepancies on every level. Mississippi State is saying that they reported this to the to the SEC Commission in the office in December. SEC is saying we didn't find out until July. We didn't get all the information. Listen. Mississippi State should have reported this. There shouldn't have been an issue with this. Or somewhere along the line, somebody's not giving us all the information because nobody heard about this in September and October when Cam Newton was dominating on the football field. Come November, he's the most fascinating player in all of college football on a top football team. Here it goes. Oh, they tried to pay at Mississippi State. There should be some discussions. But Auburn is allowing him to play. And my point here is that if this thing should come out bad on the Cam Newton side and we find out all of these allegations are in fact true, it's going to be trouble for Auburn.
All right.
I mean, look what happened with Reggie Bush. Yeah. It's suspended, you know, the Heisman Trophy.
Gone.
They had to forfeit football games in Auburn. Another thing people aren't talking about, this is a school that was on probation like 15, 16 years ago.
All right, we have to run. And I do have to say, I want to tell our viewers that we reached out to Cam Newton's father, Cecil Newton. I spoke with his attorney. He was going to try to come on, but said it wasn't in the best interest of his client to come on. So we did reach out to them. Thank you, Jamal Anderson.
My pleasure.
Again, it's got to be new rules.
Yes, there's no question about it.
Appreciate it. We're going to report on some breaking news when we return here again.